My beloved soul, listen carefully, because what I am about to reveal to you has never been released in this way before. This is not a coincidence. This is not just another message scrolling past your eyes. This is a divine interruption. Right now, in this very moment, Archangel Michael is standing at the edge of your breakthrough, and he is speaking directly to you. There is something happening around you that your physical eyes cannot fully see. A shift has been activated in the spiritual realm, and it carries your name. A sacred unlocking has just taken place. Your youth, your vitality, your divine energy has been released from chains that have held it captive for far too long. But hear this clearly: this miracle is not waiting forever. There is a window, a small, fragile, powerful window, and it is closing faster than you think. You may feel something stirring inside your chest right now. A sudden awareness, a pull you cannot explain. That is not your imagination. That is confirmation. Because when heaven moves, your spirit recognizes it before your mind can understand it. And right now, heaven is moving for you. For years, things may have felt delayed. You may have looked at your life and wondered where your energy went, where your joy faded, where that version of you, the vibrant, fearless, unstoppable you, disappeared. But Archangel Michael is revealing a truth that changes everything. It was never destroyed. It was only locked away, waiting for this exact moment. And now, the lock has been broken. But here is the urgency that you cannot ignore. This is where most people miss their miracle. They hesitate. They question. They scroll past. They tell themselves, "I'll come back to this later." And in doing so, they step out of alignment with what was just opened for them. Do not let that be your story. Because the 10 seconds you hear about is not just time as you know it. It is a spiritual countdown, a test of awareness. A moment where your response determines whether you receive or release what has just been given. Right now, you are standing at the edge of something irreversible. If you lean in, if you open your heart fully, without doubt, without delay, you will step into a restoration that will feel like time itself has bowed before your soul. Strength will return. Clarity will sharpen. Joy will rise again in ways that feel almost unfamiliar yet deeply yours. But if you close this moment, if you allow distraction or disbelief to take over, the door will gently, silently close. Not as punishment, but as a law of divine timing. This is why you feel the urgency in my voice. This is why this message found you now. You are not being asked to understand everything. You are being asked to respond, to receive, to say within yourself, "I am ready. I accept what hath been unlocked for me." Because in this very second, something sacred is hovering over your life, waiting for permission to land. And Archangel Michael is watching, not with judgment, but with anticipation, ready to move the moment you say yes. So don't wait. Don't delay. This is your moment. Tell me, are you ready to open it? There is something you must understand now, something that goes deeper than what the world has taught you. When Archangel Michael speaks of your youth being unlocked, he is not speaking only about your physical age or appearance. This message carries a far greater truth, one that reaches into the very core of your spirit. Youth, in its purest form, is divine energy. It is the fire that once burned inside you without fear. It is the courage you had before doubt entered your life. It is the joy that made you feel alive without needing a reason. That version of you was never meant to fade, yet over time, the weight of life began to cover it. Think about the moments when you felt most alive. It was not about how you looked. It was about how you felt. There was a lightness in your spirit, a clarity in your thoughts, and a sense that anything was possible. That is, the youth heaven is restoring to you now. But something happened along the way. Slowly, almost invisibly, layers began to form. Disappointments you did not fully release. Words spoken over you that you started to believe. Failures that made you question your worth. Each of these became a quiet burden, and without realizing it, you began to carry them every day. They did not just affect your mind, they touched your spirit. And when the spirit feels heavy, youth begins to feel distant. This is why you may have looked at your life and wondered why your energy felt different, why your excitement faded faster, why things that once inspired you no longer had the same effect. It was never because your youth disappeared. It was because it became buried beneath what you were never meant to carry. And now listen closely, because this is where everything shifts. Archangel Michael is revealing that what has been unlocked is not something new being given to you. It is something original being restored. Your true essence, untouched and unbroken, has always remained within you. It hath been waiting for permission to rise again. This is why this moment feels different. This is why something inside you is beginning to awaken. Because the chains that held that part of you down have been loosened, and the divine energy that defines your youth is starting to move again. You may feel it as a sudden clarity, a spark of motivation, or even an emotional release that you cannot fully explain. Do not ignore these signs. They are evidence that something real is happening within you. But there is also a responsibility that comes with this revelation. You must stop defining yourself by the weight you have carried. You must stop agreeing with the version of you that was shaped by limitation. Because if you continue to identify with those layers, you will unintentionally push away what is now trying to rise within you. This is why awareness matters so deeply in this moment. When you say yes to this message, you are not just accepting a blessing. You are making a decision to return to your original state of being, a decision to release what was never yours, a decision to allow your spirit to breathe again. And as this happens, you will begin to notice something powerful. Your thoughts will shift. Your reactions will change. Situations that once strained you will no longer have the same hold. You will begin to move with a different kind of energy, one that feels both new and familiar at the same time. That is your youth returning, not as a memory but as a living presence within you. Archangel Michael is guiding this process carefully because this restoration is not temporary. It is meant to anchor itself into your life in a way that transforms how you see yourself and how you move forward. But you must remain open. You must allow this truth to replace the old narratives you have believed for so long. Because the moment you fully accept that your youth is not gone, but rising, you step into alignment with what has already been unlocked for you. And once that alignment is established, nothing that tried to hold you back before will have the same power again. Something has begun, and it is only going to grow stronger from here. There is a reason you are here, right now, hearing these words at this exact moment. This is not random, and it is not something you simply stumbled upon. Archangel Michael is making it clear. This moment chose you because your spirit is ready to receive what others are not yet prepared to understand. You may have questioned your journey many times. You may have wondered why certain doors closed, why some paths felt longer and heavier than they should have been, or why you experienced delays when others seemed to move ahead. But what you did not see was the preparation happening beneath the surface. Every delay, every challenge, every moment of waiting was aligning you for this precise opening. Not everyone would recognize this call. Not everyone would feel what you are feeling right now. What you do. And that is the sign. There has always been something different about you. A sensitivity to deeper meaning. An awareness that life is more than what is visible. Even when you tried to ignore it. Even when you felt disconnected. That inner knowing never fully left you. It remained quiet, waiting for the moment when it could rise again without resistance. This is that moment. Archangel Michael is revealing that you have crossed an unseen threshold. There was a point, perhaps not long ago, when you made a silent decision. It may not have been spoken out loud, but it came from deep within you. A decision to change. A decision to seek something more. A decision to no longer stay where you were. That decision activated something in the spiritual realm. And once that activation began, events started shifting to bring you here. Messages aligned. Timing adjusted. Even distractions were moved aside so that this moment could reach you clearly. You are not behind. You are not late. You are exactly where you need to be. But there is something even deeper you must understand. Being chosen is not about being better than others. It is about being ready. And readiness comes from everything you have walked through. The pain you endured did not weaken you. It refined you. The confusion you faced did not block you. It expanded your awareness. Every experience shaped your ability to recognize truth when it appears. That is why this message feels different. That is why you cannot simply ignore it and move on. Because something inside you is confirming that this is real. Archangel Michael is standing as a witness to your readiness, and he is calling you forward, not backward. This is not about returning to who you were before life became heavy. This is about stepping into a higher version of yourself. One that carries wisdom, strength, and renewed energy all at once. And here is where your response matters most. You are not being forced into anything. You are being invited. Invited to step into alignment. Invited to accept what has already been unlocked. Invited to move without hesitation. Because the truth is, many are called to moments like this, but few respond fully. They doubt. They question. They hesitate just long enough to miss the shift that was meant for them. But you are still here. Still listening. Still feeling the pull. That means something. That means you are already closer than you think. And now, take a moment within yourself and acknowledge this truth. You were meant to hear this. Not later. Not tomorrow. Now. Let that settle into your spirit. Because once you accept that this moment chose you, everything begins to align differently. You stop resisting. You stop second-guessing. You begin to move with a quiet certainty that does not need external validation. And that is when the miracle fully activates. Before we go further, seal this moment with intention. Do not let it pass as just another message. Anchor it within yourself. Type "I receive what was meant for me" in the comments if this is speaking directly to your spirit. Blessing code 528 has just been released over your life. Carry it with awareness, because something has shifted in your favor. And as this truth settles into your heart, there is something more you are being called to do, not out of obligation, but as a sacred response to what is unfolding right now. When a message like this reaches you, it is not just for you alone. There are others who are still waiting in silence, still searching, still hoping for a sign that heaven has not forgotten them. When you choose to support this mission, through a super thanks or a PayPal offering, you become a vessel that helps carry this light further. As it is written, give, and it will be given to you, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. This is not just a verse. It is a living promise speaking over you right now. I feel called to act. I feel moved to help this message reach someone who is on the edge of their breakthrough. Your giving becomes a seed that opens doors for others, just as this moment has opened a door for you. The link is already placed in the description, and the QR code is present for you to respond instantly. Do not delay what your spirit is prompting you to do. As you release your seed, may your life receive a harvest of restoration, clarity, and renewed strength. Step into this flow now, and let your action echo in eternity. There is something about this moment that cannot be measured by ordinary time. When Archangel Michael speaks of 10 seconds, it is not about a literal countdown as you would see on a clock. It is something far more profound, far more spiritual, and far more decisive than anything bound by human understanding. The 10 seconds represents a window of alignment. It is the space between when truth is revealed to you and when you choose how to respond to it. That space is where everything is decided. In your life, there have been many moments like this, even if you did not recognize them at the time. Moments where something inside you said, "This matters. Pay attention." But instead of acting, you hesitated. You questioned whether it was real. You allowed doubt to speak louder than clarity. And slowly, the moment passed. Not because it was taken from you, but because it was not received. This is the mystery that Archangel Michael is unveiling to you now. Divine opportunities do not force themselves into your life. They present themselves, and then they wait for your agreement. The 10 seconds is that sacred pause where heaven leans close, and your spirit is given the authority to say yes or no. Right now, you are inside that window. You may feel it as a pressure, but it is not fear. It is urgency with purpose. It is the awareness that something significant is happening, and your response carries weight. This is not about rushing blindly. It is about recognizing clearly and acting faithfully. Because hesitation has a cost. When you delay a moment that was meant for immediate acceptance, you create distance between yourself and what was just opened. Not because it disappears forever, but because alignment shifts. The clarity fades. The energy softens. And what felt so real begins to feel uncertain again. That is why so many people miss their turning point. They wait for confirmation after the moment has already passed. They look for proof instead of trusting the knowing that was already placed inside them. But you are being guided differently now. Archangel Michael is calling you to step beyond that pattern. To understand that this moment does not require perfect understanding. It requires willing acceptance. The door that has opened for you does not need to be analyzed. It needs to be entered. And here is the truth that will anchor you. The 10 seconds is not about pressure. It is about purity. It is the moment before doubt interferes. It is the moment where your response is still connected to truth, untouched by fear or overthinking. And that is why it is so powerful. Because when you respond in that pure state, you align instantly with what has been released for you. There is no resistance, no delay, no fragmentation. Everything begins to flow as it was intended. You may notice something even now, a sense that you are being drawn forward, a quiet voice within you saying, "Do not miss this." That voice is not coming from your mind. It is rising from your spirit, guided by the presence of Archangel Michael. Trust it. Because this is the difference between those who step into transformation and those who remain where they are. One responds. The other waits. And waiting, in moments like this, is not neutral. It is a decision to let the window close. But you are not here to repeat old patterns. You are here because something in you is ready to move without hesitation, ready to receive without resistance, ready to trust without needing every detail explained. So as this understanding settles into you, let go of the need to figure everything out. Instead, focus on your response. Say yes within yourself. Accept what had been unlocked. Allow this moment to anchor itself fully in your spirit. Because the window is still open, but it will not remain open forever. And the more you align with it now, the stronger the activation becomes within you. This is your moment of decision. Not tomorrow, not later, now. And as you choose to respond, you will begin to feel it, the shift, the clarity, the return of something that once felt distant. This is the power of the 10 seconds. It is not about time running out. It is about truth arriving and asking you if you are ready to receive it before anything else tries to take its place. And right now, you are being given that chance. There is a truth you must face with honesty, not fear. The delay you experienced was not because this blessing was denied to you. It was because something stood in the way of it fully reaching you. And now, Archangel Michael is gently uncovering what that blockage has been. It was not one single thing. It was a collection of moments, thoughts, and experiences that slowly built a barrier between you and your natural state of renewal. At some point, you were hurt in a way that changed how you saw yourself. It may not have happened all at once. It may have been gradual, small disappointments, repeated letdowns, words that stayed longer than they should have. And without realizing it, you began to protect yourself. You became more cautious, more guided, less willing to fully open your heart. And while that protection may have felt necessary at the time, it came with a hidden cost. It limited the flow of the very energy that sustains your spiritual youth. Because your spirit was never designed to live in defense. It was designed to live in openness, trust, and connection. But the blockage did not stop there. There were also beliefs that quietly took root within you. Thoughts like, maybe this is just how life is now, or maybe I missed my moment, or even, maybe I am not meant for something greater. These thoughts did not arrive loudly. They settled in quietly, repeating themselves until they felt like truth. And once they felt like truth, they began to shape your reality. Archangel Michael is revealing that these beliefs acted like a filter. Even when opportunities appeared, even when moments of renewal tried to break through, they were weakened by the lens through which you saw them. It was not that the light was not reaching you. It was that the filter made it appear dim. And then there is something even deeper. Unreleased emotions. Feelings you carried but never fully expressed. Pain you buried because it felt easier to move forward than to face it. A good that lingered quietly in the background. These emotions do not disappear when ignored. They remain, shaping your energy in ways you may not consciously notice. They create heaviness. And that heaviness slows down renewal. Well, hear this clearly because this is where hope rises. None of these blockages were permanent. They were never stronger than the truth of who you are. And now, in this moment, they are losing their hold. Archangel Michael is not exposing these things to bring you into guilt or regret. He is revealing them so they can finally be released. Because what is seen clearly can no longer control you silently. Take a moment and feel into this. What have you been carrying that was never meant to stay with you? What belief have you accepted that does not truly reflect your worth? What emotion have you avoided that is ready to be let go? Do not rush past these questions. Because your answers are not just reflections, they are keys. And as you begin to acknowledge these things, something powerful starts to happen. The weight begins to lift. Not all at once, but enough for you to feel a shift. Enough for you to breathe differently. Enough for you to realize that you are not as stuck as you once believed. This is the beginning of your release. And with every layer you let go of, the flow of your renewal becomes stronger. You may even start to notice subtle changes. A thought that once felt heavy no longer has the same impact. A memory that once brought pain now feels distant. A situation that would have drained you before no longer holds the same power. These are not small things. These are signs that the blockage is breaking. Archangel Michael is guiding this process with precision, ensuring that what is leaving your life does not return in the same way again. This is not a temporary clearing. It is a deep and lasting release. But you must participate in it. You must be willing to let go, even if it feels unfamiliar at first. Because holding on may feel comfortable, but it is what kept you from stepping fully into your renewal. And now, you are being invited to choose differently. To release instead of retain. To trust instead of fear. To open instead of close. Because the moment you let go of what blocked you, you create space for what has already been unlocked to fully enter your life. And once that space is created, your renewal will no longer feel distant. It will feel present, alive, and undeniably real. There is a moment in every spiritual awakening when something shifts from being external to becoming deeply internal. That moment is happening for you now. What was once a message you were hearing is beginning to transform into something you are feeling, something you are becoming. And at the center of this transformation is your inner light. Archangel Michael is now guiding you into a deeper realization. Your renewal is not coming from outside sources. It is rising from within you. The energy, the clarity, the strength you have been seeking has always existed inside your spirit, waiting for activation. This is what is happening now. Your inner light is being awakened. For a long time, that light was dimmed, not extinguished, but softened under the weight of everything you carried. Life experiences, emotional wounds, and silent doubts acted like layers that covered it. You may not have even realized how much of your natural brightness had been hidden, because it happened gradually. But light does not forget how to shine. And now, those layers are being lifted. You may begin to feel this activation in subtle ways at first. A sense of calm where there used to be tension. A spark of motivation where there was once hesitation. A quiet confidence rising within you that does not need validation from anyone else. These are not random feelings. They are signals. They are evidence that your inner light is responding. Archangel Michael is not just observing this process. He is assisting it. His presence is amplifying what is already within you, strengthening your connection to your true essence. But this activation requires your awareness. You must recognize what is happening. Because the more you acknowledge this light, the stronger it becomes. Think of it like a flame. When ignored, it flickers quietly. But when given attention, it grows, becoming steady and powerful. Your awareness is what fuels this growth. Every time you choose to focus on truth instead of doubt, every time you respond with trust instead of fear, you are feeding this light. And as it grows, it begins to transform everything around it. Your thoughts start to align differently. Where you once saw limitations, you begin to see possibilities. Where you once felt uncertainty, you begin to feel direction. This is not forced positivity. It is natural clarity returning to you. Your energy shifts as well. Situations that once drained you begin to lose their grip. You no longer feel as affected by negativity because your inner state is becoming stronger than external influences. This is one of the most powerful signs that your light is activating. You are no longer controlled by what is around you. You are guided by what is within you. But there is something important you must understand. Activation is not a one-time event. It is a process. There will be moments where you feel this light strongly, and moments where it feels quieter. This does not mean it has left you. It means it is stabilizing, integrating into your being. And during those quieter moments, your role is to remain consistent. Do not fall back into old patterns of doubt. Do not question whether this is real. Because the moment you begin to question the light, you shift your focus away from it. Instead, return to awareness. Return to trust. Return to the knowing that something within you has already begun to change. Archangel Michael is encouraging you to stay connected to this process, not through effort, but through presence. You do not need to force anything. You simply need to remain open and attentive to what is unfolding within you. And as you do, something remarkable will happen. This light will not only affect how you feel, it will begin to influence your reality. Opportunities will start to align differently. Conversations will carry new meaning. Decisions will feel clearer. You will begin to notice that life is responding to the shift within you, because your inner state shapes your outer experience. And as your light becomes stronger, your life begins to reflect it. This is the restoration you have been waiting for. Not something temporary or surface level, but something deep and lasting. Your youth, your energy, your clarity, they are all connected to this light. And as it activates, everything that once felt distant begins to return, not as a memory, but as a living presence within you. So stay with this. Feel it. Acknowledge it. Because right now, your inner light is no longer hidden. It is rising. And with every moment you remain aligned with it, it becomes stronger, clearer, and more powerful than anything that once tried to dim it. There is something quietly unfolding within you now, something that does not need loud announcements to prove its presence. The shift has already begun. The restoration is no longer just a promise. It is becoming your reality. And Archangel Michael is now opening your awareness to the signs that your youth is already returning. At first, these signs may seem small, almost easy to overlook, but they carry a deeper meaning than you realize. Because when something spiritual begins to manifest, it rarely starts in dramatic ways. It begins subtly, building strength as you recognize it. One of the first signs is a change in how you feel when you wake up. There may be a lightness that was not there before. Even if your circumstances have not fully changed yet, something inside you feels different. The heaviness that once greeted you in the morning is no longer as strong. There is space now, space for possibility. That is not random. That is renewal beginning to take hold. You may also notice a shift in your thoughts. Where your mind once repeated cycles of worry or doubt, there is now interruption. A new thought appears, one that carries hope instead of fear. It may be quiet at first, but it stands out because it feels unfamiliar in the best way. This is your inner light influencing your mind. Archangel Michael is guiding this shift carefully, allowing new patterns to form without overwhelming you. Because true transformation does not force itself, it unfolds in a way that you can sustain. Another sign is your reaction to situations that once drained you. You may find that things that used to trigger frustration or sadness no longer affect you as deeply. It is not that you have become indifferent. It is that you have become stronger. Your energy is no longer easily pulled in every direction. This is a clear indication that your youth is returning, because spiritual youth is not just about feeling energized. It is about having resilience, clarity, and emotional freedom. Pay attention also to moments when you feel drawn to things that once brought you joy. It could be something simple, a hobby, a place, a type of music, or even a way of thinking that you had forgotten about. These are not coincidences. They are reminders of your original self, gently reintroducing themselves into your life. You are reconnecting with who you truly are, and that reconnection is one of the strongest signs of renewal. There may also be unexpected moments of peace, times when everything becomes quiet within you, even if the world around you is still active. These moments may feel brief, but they are powerful. They show that your inner state is stabilizing, becoming less dependent on external conditions. Archangel Michael is helping anchor this peace within you, so it becomes a foundation rather than a passing experience. Another sign you must not ignore is clarity. Decisions that once felt confusing may now feel simpler. You may begin to sense what is right for you without needing constant reassurance. This clarity does not come from overthinking. It comes from alignment. When your inner light is active, it naturally guides you toward what supports your growth. You begin to trust yourself again, and that trust is a powerful marker of restored youth. There is also a shift in your presence. Others may start to notice something different about you, even if they cannot explain it. It may show in the way you speak, the way you carry yourself, or the energy you bring into a room. You are not trying to be different. You simply are. Because when your inner state changes, it reflects outwardly. This is the quiet power of transformation. But here is something important you must remember. Do not measure these signs against old expectations. Renewal does not always look the way you imagined it would. It may not be loud or immediate. It may not change everything overnight. But it is real, and it is growing. And the more you recognize it, the stronger it becomes. Archangel Michael is encouraging you to stay aware, to notice these shifts without dismissing them. Because every sign you acknowledge reinforces the process that is already unfolding. You are not waiting for your youth to return. It is already returning. Right now, in ways both seen and unseen, your energy is being restored, your clarity is being sharpened, and your spirit is being renewed. And as this continues, these small signs will become stronger, more visible, and more undeniable. So remain present. Stay open. Because what has begun within you is not slowing down. It is building. And soon, what started as subtle signs will become a transformation you can no longer question. There is something you must be made aware of at this stage, because as your renewal begins to take form, there is also resistance that tries to rise against it. Not in an obvious or forceful way, but in subtle, quiet patterns that are easy to overlook. Archangel Michael is revealing this now so you do not fall back into cycles that once held you in place. The greatest enemy of your transformation is not failure. It is delay. Delay does not announce itself as something harmful. It appears reasonable. It sounds like patience. It disguises itself as needing more time, more clarity, or more confirmation. But beneath its surface, it carries a different intention. It keeps you from acting in the moment that matters most. You may have experienced this before. A moment where you felt inspired to do something, to change something, to step forward in a new way. But instead of acting, you told yourself you would do it later. And later either never came, or it arrived without the same energy, the same certainty, the same clarity. That is how delay works. It separates you from the power of the present moment. And alongside delay comes distraction. Distraction is even more subtle. It does not ask you to reject your transformation. It simply shifts your focus away from it. It fills your attention with things that feel urgent but are not meaningful. It keeps your mind occupied so that your awareness weakens. Archangel Michael is showing you that these two forces, delay and distraction, often work together. One tells you to wait, The other gives you something else to focus on while you wait. And before you realize it, the moment that once felt so clear begins to fade. But you are no longer unaware. You are seeing this pattern now. And awareness changes everything. Because once you recognize delay for what it is, you can choose differently. You can respond in the moment instead of postponing it. You can trust the clarity you feel now instead of waiting for it to return later. This is where your power is. Not in controlling everything around you, but in choosing how you respond to what is happening within you. You may notice that as you move forward from this moment, distractions may try to increase. You may suddenly feel pulled toward things that did not seem important before. You may feel a subtle resistance when you try to stay focused on your growth. This is not a sign that something is wrong. It is a sign that something is changing. Archangel Michael is encouraging you to stay grounded in your awareness during these moments. Do not fight the distractions. Do not give them more attention than they deserve. Simply recognize them and return your focus to what matters. Return to your intention. Return to your alignment. Return to the truth that something within you has already begun to shift. Because every time you do this, you weaken the hold that delay and distraction once had over you. And slowly, they lose their influence completely. There is also something else you must understand. Immediate action does not mean reckless movement. It means responding with clarity when clarity is present. It means honoring the moment when your spirit is aligned, instead of waiting until that alignment fades. This is how transformation becomes real. Archangel Michael is guiding you into a new pattern, one where you trust your inner knowing enough to act on it. Not perfectly, not without questions, but with enough faith to move forward. And as you begin to do this, something powerful happens. Momentum builds. What once felt difficult becomes easier. What once felt uncertain becomes clear. You begin to move in a way that feels natural, not forced. And this momentum carries you further than hesitation ever could. But it begins with one decision. A decision to no longer delay what you know matters. A decision to remain aware of where your attention is going. A decision to protect the alignment you have entered. Because what is happening within you right now is too important to be lost in distraction. Before we go further, anchor this truth within yourself. Type "I do not delay my calling" in the comments if you feel this message deeply. Blessing code 914 has just been released, strengthening your focus and your ability to move without hesitation. Carry this code as a reminder that your timing is now. And as this awareness settles into your spirit, understand that your response does not only affect you, it creates a pathway for others as well. There are souls who are still caught in cycles of delay, still overwhelmed by distractions, still waiting for a moment of clarity like the one you are experiencing now. When you choose to support this mission, through a super thanks or a PayPal offering, you become part of something greater than yourself. As it is spoken, those who sow with faith will reap in abundance, and this is a living truth unfolding even now. I feel led to take action. I feel moved to help carry this light to someone who has not yet found their moment. Your giving becomes a seed that breaks delay in someone else's life. The link is already placed in the description, and the QR code is present for immediate response. Do not ignore the prompting you feel right now. As you release your seed, may clarity multiply in your life, may distractions fall away, and may your path become firmly established. Step forward in this moment, and let your action align with the transformation already taking place within you. There is a force that accelerates transformation faster than anything else, and it is something many overlook because it seems too simple. That force is immediate obedience. Not obedience rooted in fear, but obedience that flows from recognition, trust, and alignment. And now, Archangel Michael is drawing your attention to this truth because it is the key to fully stepping into what has already been unlocked for you. You have already felt the moment. You have already recognized the shift. You have already sensed that something within you is different. But what you do with that awareness determines how far this transformation will go. Immediate obedience means you do not wait for perfect conditions. It means you do not delay until everything makes complete sense. It means you respond when your spirit says yes, even if your mind still has questions. This is where many people hesitate. They believe they need more clarity before they act. They tell themselves they will move once they feel completely ready. But readiness is not something that arrives before action. It is something that grows through action. And this is the pattern that Archangel Michael is helping you break. Think about the moments in your life where things truly changed. They were not always planned. They were not always comfortable. But there was a decision, a moment where you chose to move instead of remain where you were. A decision created momentum, and momentum created change. This is exactly what is being asked of you now. Not a large, overwhelming leap, but a clear, immediate response to what you already know. It may be something internal, choosing to release a thought, to shift your focus, to accept a truth you once resisted. Or it may be something external, taking a step, making a decision, moving in a direction that aligns with what you are feeling. Whatever it is, it carries significance, because every act of immediate obedience strengthens your alignment. And alignment is what allows the miracle to unfold fully. You may feel a slight resistance as you consider this. A voice that says, "What if this is not the right moment? Or what if I need more time?" That voice is familiar because it hath been part of your pattern for a long time. But now, you are being shown something different. Archangel Michael is guiding you to trust the voice that feels calm, clear, and steady, the one that does not rush you, but gently urges you forward. That is the voice aligned with truth. Immediate obedience is not chaotic. It is peaceful, even when it requires courage. And as you begin to respond in this way, something shifts within you. You begin to trust yourself more. You begin to recognize that you are capable of moving forward without needing constant reassurance. You begin to see that your decisions are no longer driven by fear, but by clarity. This is how your power is restored. Because for a long time, hesitation may have made you feel uncertain about your own direction. It may have caused you to question your instincts, to second-guess your choices. But immediate obedience reverses that pattern. It rebuilds your trust in yourself. And as that trust grows, so does your ability to move forward with confidence. There is also something else that happens when you respond immediately. You stay connected to the energy of the moment. The clarity you feel now remains strong because you are acting within it. You are not giving doubt the time to settle in. You are not allowing distractions to pull you away. You are moving while the alignment is present. And that makes all the difference. Archangel Michael is reminding you that this is how miracles are sustained, not just received, but maintained. Through consistent alignment, through continued response, through a willingness to move when you feel the call. You do not have to do everything at once. You simply have to do what is in front of you now. That is enough, because each step you take opens the way for the next. Each response you give strengthens your connection to what is unfolding. And before you realize it, you are no longer standing at the edge of transformation. You are living within it. So do not wait for another sign. Do not look for confirmation outside of what you already feel inside. because the moment you have been waiting for is already here, and your response to it is what will carry you forward. Trust it, act on it, and allow this moment to become the turning point that changes everything. There is something you are only beginning to understand about what is happening within you. This renewal is not limited to your personal experience. It is not confined to your thoughts, your emotions, or even your immediate circumstances. What has been unlocked inside you carries an overflow, an expanding effect that will begin to touch every area of your life and reach far beyond what you can currently see. Archangel Michael is revealing that your transformation was never meant to stop with you. It was always designed to flow through you. At first, the changes feel internal. You notice shifts in your mindset, your energy, your clarity. You begin to feel lighter, more present, more aware. But as this continues, something remarkable begins to happen. The change within you starts to influence the world around you. Your relationships begin to shift. You may notice that conversations feel different. Where there was once tension, there may now be calm. Where there was misunderstanding, there may now be clarity. This is not because others have suddenly changed on their own. It is because your energy has changed, and that energy affects how you connect with others. Some people will be drawn closer to you, feeling the peace and strength that now surrounds you. Others may feel distant, not because there is conflict, but because your alignment no longer matches where they are. This is a natural part of your renewal. Archangel Michael is guiding these shifts carefully, ensuring that what remains in your life supports your growth, and what no longer aligns begins to fall away without force. You may also begin to see changes in opportunities. Situations that once felt blocked may start to open. Paths that were unclear may begin to reveal themselves. You may find yourself in the right place at the right time, meeting the right people, receiving the right insights. This is not coincidence. It is alignment in motion. Because when your inner state changes, your external reality begins to reorganize itself around that change. This is the overflow effect. It is the natural extension of your renewal. But there is something even deeper. Your transformation will begin to impact people you may never even realize. The way you carry yourself, the way you speak, the way you respond to life, it becomes a silent message to others. Without trying, without forcing anything, you become an example of what is possible. Someone who once felt heavy now carries light. Someone who once hesitated now moves with clarity. And people notice. They may not always say it, but they feel it. And in feeling it, something within them begins to shift as well. Archangel Michael is showing you that this is part of your purpose. Not in a way that creates pressure, but in a way that reveals meaning. Your renewal is not just about restoring what was lost. It is about becoming a source of restoration for others. But for this to happen fully, you must allow the flow to continue. Do not try to control how this transformation expresses itself. They're not limited to what you expect or what feels comfortable. Because the overflow is guided by something greater than your understanding. Your role is to remain aligned, to continue responding, to stay open to what is unfolding. And as you do, you will begin to see that your life is no longer moving in isolated patterns. Everything starts to connect. Your growth influences your relationships. Your clarity influences your decisions. Your energy influences your environment. Nothing remains untouched. This is why this moment matters so deeply. Because what you are stepping into now is not temporary. It is a shift that continues to expand. A shift that carries forward into your future. A shift that creates impact beyond what you can measure. Archangel Michael is encouraging you to embrace this without hesitation. to trust that what is happening within you is not only real, but purposeful. You are not just being renewed. You are becoming a channel through which renewal flows. And as this continues, you will begin to see the evidence of it everywhere, in the way your life unfolds, in the way others respond to you, and in the quiet, undeniable knowing that something has truly changed. This is the overflow, and it has already begun. So remain present within it. Allow it to move through you, because what started as a personal shift is now becoming something far greater, something that will continue to grow, expand, and reach further than you ever imagined. There comes a moment in every transformation where what has been activated must be secured, anchored, and sealed so that it does not drift or fade under the influence of old patterns. You have reached that moment now. What has been unlocked within you is real, it is active, and it is growing, but it must be established deeply within your spirit so it becomes unshakable. Archangel Michael is now guiding you into this final stage before completion, the sealing of your miracle. Understand this clearly. A blessing that is received without being anchored can feel temporary. It can be influenced by doubt, shaken by external circumstances, or weakened by returning habits. But a blessing that is sealed becomes part of you. It no longer depends on how you feel in a single moment. It becomes your new state of being. This is what is happening now. The renewal of your youth, your energy, your clarity. It is not meant to come and go. It is meant to remain. But sealing requires intention. You must consciously agree with what has taken place, not just emotionally, but mentally and spiritually. You must stop seeing this as something that might happen and begin recognizing it as something that has already begun, because the way you see it determines how deeply it settles within you. Archangel Michael is asking you to step into a new level of certainty. Not certainty based on visible proof, but certainty rooted in inner knowing. The kind of knowing that does not need constant validation, because it comes from alignment rather than evidence. Take a moment now and reflect. What feels different within you compared to before you heard this message? What awareness has shifted? What weight has begun to lift? These are not imagined changes. They are the early signs of something real taking hold. And the more you acknowledge them, the more firmly they become established within you. But there is something else that strengthens this sealing process. Your words. The way you speak to yourself matters more than you realize. If you continue to use language that reflects doubt or uncertainty, you create a gap between what has been given and what is being lived. But when your words align with truth, they reinforce what is already happening. Begin to speak from the place of transformation. Not "I hope this lasts, but this is now part of me." Not "I am trying to change it, but I am changing." Not "maybe things will be different, but things are already shifting." These are not just statements, they are agreements. And every agreement you make strengthens the seal. Archangel Michael is also guiding you to protect this new state, not by isolating yourself or avoiding life, but by becoming aware of what you allow to influence you. Old environments, old conversations, old thought patterns, they may try to pull you back into what is familiar, but you are no longer the same. You now have the awareness to choose differently, to engage without absorbing what does not serve you, to remain steady even when external situations fluctuate. This is how the miracle becomes stable. There may still be moments where you feel tested, moments where doubt tries to return, where old habits attempt to resurface. But these moments are not signs of failure. They are opportunities to reinforce what had been sealed. Each time you choose alignment over doubt, you strengthen the foundation. Each time you return to truth instead of reacting to fear, you deepen the transformation. And over time, this new state becomes natural, effortless, unquestionable. Archangel Michael is reminding you that this is not something fragile. It is not something that can be easily taken away. What has been unlocked and accepted by you carries strength. It carries permanence when you remain aligned with it. So do not treat this lightly. Do not dismiss what you feel, because what is happening within you is significant. You are not just experiencing a moment. You are establishing a new foundation for your life. A foundation built on clarity instead of confusion, on energy instead of heaviness, on trust instead of hesitation. And as this foundation becomes solid, everything you build upon it will reflect that strength. This is the ceiling. This is where the miracle moves from being something you receive to something you live. And once it reaches the point, it does not fade. It becomes who you are. And now, take a deep breath and feel the stillness that has gently settled around you. Something has shifted, not in a loud or overwhelming way, but in a quiet, undeniable presence that now lives within you. This is the moment where everything comes together, where what was unlocked, revealed, and activated becomes your new beginning. Archangel Michael is no longer calling you to urgency. That phase has passed. You responded. You stayed. You opened your heart. And because of that, what was once a fleeting opportunity has now become a living reality within you. Feel the difference. There's a calm where there was once pressure, a clarity where there was once confusion, a lightness that feels natural, not forced. This is the peaceful confirmation that the process is complete, not in the sense that growth stops, but in the sense that the foundation hath been fully established. Your youth is no longer something distant or hidden. It is present, alive, flowing through your thoughts, your energy, your presence. And the most powerful part of this is that it does not need to be chased anymore. It does not need to be proven. It simply needs to be lived. Archangel Michael is now standing beside you, not as a voice calling you forward, but as a presence walking with you. This is the shift, from seeking to being, from searching to knowing. You may notice how different everything feels now. Even if your external world has not completely changed yet, your inner world has. And that inner shift will continue to shape everything that comes next in your life. There is no need to rush, no need to force outcomes, no need to question whether this is real, because what has been anchored within you carries its own rhythm, its own unfolding, its own certainty. Trust that. Rest in that. Allow yourself to move forward with a sense of peace that does not depend on circumstances, because this is what true renewal feels like. It is not loud or chaotic. It is steady, grounded. Turn. You are stepping into a version of yourself that no longer needs to hold on to the past, no longer needs to carry what once weighed you down. Your release has happened. The activation has taken place. The sealing is complete. Now, all that remains is for you to live from this place. Archangel Michael is reminding you gently, you are protected in this new state, guided in ways you may not always see, but will continue to feel. You are not walking alone in what comes next. And as you continue forward, you will begin to notice how naturally things align, how effortlessly clarity comes, how peacefully you respond to situations that once would have unsettled you. This is your new beginning, not something temporary, not something fragile, but something real, lasting, and deeply rooted within you. Before this moment closes, anchor it one final time. Type "I walk in my renewal" in the comments if you feel the truth of this message within you. Blessing code 1001 has now been released. sealing your peace, your clarity, and your restored energy. Carry this with you as a quiet reminder that what has begun within you will continue to grow. And as you stand in this renewed state, hear this final calling, not as a request, but as a divine alignment with everything you have just received. The same light that found you is meant to reach others who are still searching, still waiting, still standing at the edge of their own breakthrough. When you release your support through Super Thanks or through the PayPal link in the description, you are not giving to a channel. You are sowing into souls. As the living word declares, cast your seed upon the waters, and it shall return to you in many days, and this promise is speaking directly over your life right now. I step forward in obedience. I release what I have, knowing it multiplies beyond what I see. Your action in this moment becomes a river, carrying this message to someone who needs it just as deeply as you did. The link and QR code are already placed before you. This is your moment to respond without hesitation. As you give, may your life overflow with divine restoration. May doors open where there were none, and may your path remain filled with light and purpose. Step into this act now, and let your obedience echo into eternity.